Before the Sanhedrin. On the appointed day, the great hall of the highest Israelite assembly was filled with a multitude of believers and curious onlookers, eager to witness the first clash between the priests and the pious, unfamiliar men of the way. The assembly brought together the most aristocratic and cultured elements of Jerusalem. Beggars, however, were denied access, even though it was a public event. The Sanhedrin presented its most eminent figures. Mixed in with the priests and teachers of Israel, one could see the most prominent personalities of Pharisaism. Representatives from all the synagogues were present. Recognizing Stephen's intellectual acumen, Saul wanted to contrast the grandeur of the setting with the humble church of the followers of the carpenter from Nazareth. Ultimately, his purpose lay in a boastful display of superiority, while simultaneously nurturing a private hope of winning Stephen over to the ranks of Judaism. He had, therefore, prepared the meeting with elements designed to dazzle the senses. Stephen appeared as a man summoned to defend himself against the charges brought against him, not as a common prisoner obliged to face justice. Examining the situation, he insistently begged the Galilean apostles not to accompany him. He considered not only the need for them to remain with those who suffer, but also the risk of serious conflict should the followers of the way appear, given the firmness of spirit with which he sought to safeguard the purity and freedom of the gospel of Christ. Furthermore, the resources they could use were too simple. He felt it would not be right to use them to challenge the supreme power of the priests, who had found the means to crucify the Messiah himself. In favor of the way, only the sick and the unfortunate stood out, the pure convictions of the humble and the gratitude of the destitute. To Stephen, this was the only force powerful enough, by its divine virtue, to support their cause before the dominant authorities of the world. Thus pondering, he sought the joy of assuming sole responsibility for his stance without compromising any companion, just as Jesus had done during his sublime apostolate. If necessary, he would not disdain the possibility of the ultimate sacrifice as a sacred testimony of love for the Lord's august and merciful heart. For him, suffering would be gentle and sweet. His arguments eventually overcame the concerns of his most vehement companions. Thus, without the support of any friend, he appeared before the Sanhedrin, deeply impressed by its grandeur and splendor. Accustomed to the impoverished scenes of the suburbs where the destitute took refuge, he was dazzled by the richness of the temple, the magnificent Roman tower, the Greek-style residences, and the synagogues scattered in great numbers throughout the city.